What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Beyond the Sign, a real estate podcast. I'm your host, Frank the Bank Grootman. With me, as always, is the tattooed realtor herself, Tanya Blake.
Thank you.
How you doing today, Tanya?
I'm good. How are you today?
Good. We're on our second episode. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in last time, a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, Frank, I forgot to ask you last week, why do they even call you Frank the Bank?
Okay, all right. Thank you for asking that. So, Frank the Tank was already taken by Will Ferrell in Old School. Great movie. And I'm really good at math, and I play a lot of poker. So when we're playing poker, I'm typically the bank or the banker. So, and I think my friends think I'm a little too slow to get away with the money. Anyway, so Frank the Bank was born and stuck ever since.
Awesome. I love it. It's great.
Thanks again for asking. Why don't we jump right into our first segment, the Property Pulse. What do you have?
All right. Thanks, Frank. So I'm going to talk about Plymouth, the town of Plymouth
Town
today.
of Plymouth today? Awesome.
So homes sold are down about 7% year to date compared to last year. Days on market are up actually from 45 days to 70 days from last year. Average sale price, those are up around nearly 6% actually, around 700,000 compared to 688,000 last year.
That's awesome.
Sellers are actually achieving 99% of their original asking price.
That's really good. Yeah, they're getting what they want. I did notice in a lot of the towns, and I think we kind of noticed this too, the days on market has been a lot longer, almost double in some towns. And I mean, 45 to 70 days, I think you said that's almost, we're pretty close. That's a pretty good increase there. So, but yeah, overall the price is still, it's kind of what we talked about last time, that we're seeing more of a steadier market and things are starting to level out a little bit. So.
Yeah, they're definitely changing a little bit.
Yep.
And, clearly the Plymouth market is remaining strong,
but
absolutely. It's showing signs of adjusting to the economic changes, and it'll be interesting to see how the local trends align with the national movement. Do you have any national news for us?
So yeah, I mean, it kind of talks a little bit about that. I saw CNBC had a report that came out actually yesterday, and they were talking about the home sale prices month to month. So they're up 2% from January to February, which, that beat the estimate. The estimate for January to February was only supposed to be about 1%. So that actually was 2%, double what they thought, which is good. However, overall sale prices they reported, this is for the nation, we're down 3.6% from last February. So sales are lower. There's been some, even though that inventory we've seen go up nationally, inventory February to last February is up 28%.
Oh, wow. So
for the sales to be actually down and the inventory to be up typically means, prices are going to be adjusted, kind of like what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Some of the reasons why they're seeing, not as many sales right now, they're talking about affordability, obviously, economic uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now, as you know.
Feeling that.
Yeah, and then debt levels actually personal debt levels rise last year. So that's kind of the things that we saw. So, but yeah, that's all I got really for the national news. I mean, we talked a little bit about the Fed. The Federal Reserve met last week. They kept rates unchanged. I mean, that was really the only other thing notable since our last episode. So
very good.
Yeah, awesome. That's really all we got for the Property Pulse this week. We're going to jump right into the Mortgage Minute with a special guest.
Yeah, we got a special guest this
week.
Yep,
we do. All right, guys, jumping into the Mortgage Minute, we have Senior Loan Officer Jennifer Watson from Rate. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I appreciate you being here. Again, I know you've done this a long time and you know your stuff. Last time, me and Tanya talked a little bit about rental loans and rehab loans, renovation loans, but we wanted to have you on to kind of give people an idea of what different options are out there. So what do you got for us?
What a renovation loan is, it's a mortgage that when you're purchasing a home, you're also renovating the home at the same time. So you're fixing up the home. So we have a bunch of different options. We have 5 different renovation loans. 2 of them are FHA loans. One is a 203K limited, which is to do small renovations, nothing structural. The second is a standard renovation loan through FHA, which is a bigger projects. Structural.
Yeah.
anything structural additions.
Yeah, I've had people do different ones like that. I think the Streamline goes to 35,000. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So I've had more people do that one, but obviously when you come into the bigger projects, you need the standards. So
Yes, if you
that's
wanted
awesome.
to add a bathroom, add
Yes.
an in-law apartment,
Yep.
anything bigger.
Yeah,
Anything bigger.
That's a great option.
It is. It's a great option. Another one is a VA loan.
Yep.
So for veterans, if you wanted to do an addition on a VA loan,
That's awesome.
That's a great.
That's really good for
option.
veterans. Yeah, VA's does some good programs. That's a great program.
And then we have 2 conventional rehab loans too, which we can do for second homes and investment properties.
Well, that's really good.
Those are good options as well.
That's awesome.
They're excellent options. All these programs are 30-year fixed rate mortgages,
Okay.
and they can be done for purchases and refinance homes.
Really? So you can do a refinance? That's great. I didn't know that. That's
Yep.
awesome.
So it opens up, where properties are so limited right now. There's a limited market out there. There's not a lot of inventory.
Right.
So if somebody's looking for a home and they find it in a neighborhood that they really like,
Yep.
you can also, broaden your search.
Yeah, thinking
So-
outside the box, like you're saying. There's not, especially around here, there's not a ton of inventory at all. I mean,
Correct.
other parts of the nation there might be, but around Plymouth County, there's really not that much still. Thinking outside the box, some of these things are great ways to get into a house. And again, if it's in a neighborhood you really
Exactly.
like, if it needs work, then these are some options that we can definitely help you with.
Exactly. So if you find a house and it doesn't have that third bedroom or that extra bathroom, you can add on.
Yeah, I tell my clients that too, and I know Tanya does too. When you put in search parameters, you should be very loose with the parameters because there's not a lot of inventory right now. So the stricter you are with the parameters, the less houses you're gonna find. So say you really need 2 bathrooms, but if you look for 2 bathrooms, you might not get the house you want. But if you have this, you say, I'm gonna look for a house with 1 bathroom, but I can add a bathroom with a loan like this.
Right.
It goes a long way. So
Or
it
if
does
you need a
open up some more
garage
doors.
or you need an in-law apartment, this might be the product for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So anything else to add today?
No, that should do it.
That's awesome. So that's all we got for the Mortgage Minute. Thanks again, Jen, for coming on, and
Thanks
we'll
for
talk
having
to you
me.
soon.
Thank you.
So that's all we got for the Mortgage Minute. And Tanya, welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having Jen on. She's a great loan officer. We've
Yeah,
worked
she
with her
is.
many times.
She's awesome. Yeah, she does a great job. So,
Yeah.
but that was all we had for the Mortgage Minute. We're gonna get into our favorite part of the show: the good, the bad, the ugly, the closing confessions.
Closing confessions.
This week we're gonna talk a little bit about the final walkthrough, the dreaded final walkthrough. So, what is a final walkthrough?
Well, a final walkthrough is one of the important steps right before closing. So
Yep.
typically you're going to have it within 24 hours, sometimes the day
Yeah,
of.
day up too. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's you're really just going there to make sure everything's in the same condition it was when you made the offer.
Absolutely.
Any kind of agreed upon repairs are done.
Yep.
That's super important because sometimes they don't.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't do
It's supposed to
them.
be broom swept is the industry
Yeah,
standard.
Yeah, you show
So-
up, there's junk everywhere.
Yeah, that has just happened plenty of times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you have any, what's the purpose of it? Or do you have any, tips on that? Like, what do you tell your people, your buyers? I know I have a little kind of a checklist, but what do you kind of
Sure,
run
yeah.
through?
So usually I'll schedule the appointment
Yep.
to show up with the buyer. Make sure all the utilities are on, the water, the gas, everything's working.
Absolutely.
Run the dishwasher or the wash machine.
Yeah, I do
Make
the
sure
same
there's
thing.
no leaky faucets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make sure the appliances, stove.
Everything's there. That's supposed to
Everything
be.
is supposed
They
to
didn't
be
take
there.
something. Happened to me personally.
Yeah.
Someone took the stove out, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it's advertised with a brand new stove, and it was in the contract that I'm supposed to have the stove. I get there, there's no stove.
Yeah, and then you've got an upset
I'm
buyer.
like, what's going on?
Yeah, so opening windows, the doors, make sure all that personal property's gone.
Yeah, that's a big thing. A lot.
That's a
The
big
paint
thing.
cans. People like to leave paint cans a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
but yeah. So yeah, those are great tips.
Do you have any stories, any horror stories, any good stories?
I mean, I've had. Again, doing this 20-something years, you see a lot of the stuff we're talking about. A stove was missing. Paint
Yeah.
cans. It's a mess. Like different things like that. But probably the 2 craziest ones were. This is the day before. On both of these, this is the day before. So we scheduled the walkthrough. We were gonna do the walkthrough on the day of the closing, which I recommend you do, and I'm sure you do too. The closer to the closing table you can be to the walkthrough is when you should do the walkthrough.
Absolutely.
God forbid a tree fell on the house or something. You did the walkthrough the night before. You didn't know. You get back there. The seller already moved out. Who knows? You know what I mean? And there's a big tree like across your house or something. Who knows? But I had two stories. A house got struck by lightning.
Oh my
This
gosh.
is the day before the closing, right? Fried the electric panel. I mean, the thing it got hit by lightning. So the buyer, we come back to the buyer and say, listen, there's a problem. I represented the buyer. The house got struck by lightning. The electrical panel's fried. There's a bunch of stuff wrong with it. So he waited it out. They got a new electrical panel. They fixed whatever else had to be fixed. We had to wait like a month and a half, 2 months because, again, insurance and everything like that. So
It delayed the whole process.
it did. It delayed everything. But he's hung in there and got a new electric panel out of the deal. So he was kind of happy about that. Obviously, he wasn't happy about waiting an extra couple months, but
you got it to the closing table.
exactly. So the other thing that happened, which was even crazier, was the house got hit by a car, and this is 2 days before the closing, 2 days before the final walkthrough, and. Obviously there was damage to the house, but my buyer, again, I represented the buyer in the situation, and the buyer was very worried about the structural integrity of the house and the foundation and stuff like that. So she actually did not want to move forward and didn't move forward. So we backed out of that because of, obviously, that was new damage to the house. But that was crazy. It got hit by a car, and I mean, luckily no one was hurt, thank God, but it's just some of these things that you see. And I know you've had plenty of these stories too, but that was probably the two that stand out to me.
Those are things you don't expect.
No, you
definitely.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy things.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the final walkthrough is very important. I mean, what are the buyer's options in that situation if there's an issue like that?
Well, the buyer has plenty of options. So, they can either try and renegotiate the terms.
Yep.
They can walk away from it.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend talking to your attorney
for
beforehand.
sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, some of this stuff is covered, like, but a lot of it's not. Like, if it's something that had to do with work that you asked to be done. But again, if there's something like your house gets hit by a car or if you want to hang in there, great. But again, like you said, you can renegotiate the terms. You can do a holdback.
Yeah, that's a great option too.
You know what I mean? You can do different things. Like sometimes houses you buy need a septic done. The seller's supposed to install the septic. There's a delay with the septic. You can still close if you do a holdback for it, or you can wait and extend the closing or back out. I mean, definitely different options out there for that. So
holdbacks are definitely a good option for those kind of situations. So a holdback is typically when the attorney will hold the money in escrow so that the property can close, and it ensures that the seller gets those repairs done.
Yeah, so the seller gets the rest of their money after they're done. So they'll hold back. Usually it's 1.5 times the amount of what it's supposed to be. So that is a great option as well. So, but yeah, I mean, that's really all we got this week, I think, unless there's anything else you want to add.
Nope, that's pretty much it. I mean, essentially the final walkthrough is that final last step before you get those keys.
Yeah,
so it's definitely an important step.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys. That's all we got for Beyond the Sign. We'll catch you next time.